Okay, in this video I'm going to show you about backgrounds. So we're going to have a look at including a background taken from the internet to finish our postcard off. We're going to have a look at choosing a photograph that you've taken. And I'm also going to talk to you about filling colours and selecting colours from some of your images. So we should be at a stage where you've now got your letters organised on your page, and they're all on separate layers, like you can see on the right hand side. What I've also done within my work, so within my Google Slides work, is I've got a slide where I've talked about what layout I was going to use. So I've got my example kind of postcard here with the lines where the words are, and then a screenshot of me talking about the process and talking about the fact that I had to make a change to my proposed layout. So talking about the fact that it was quite hard to get Trust's paintings across on one line, and then that decision to move the photographs were down and creating another line underneath. And you can see my guidelines here, and I go through that and talk about that in the passage there. So I've got my examples here. Now I no longer need my guidelines because I'm happy with all the letters as they are. So I can go to View and I can go to Clear Guides. So they disappear. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to have a look at filling the background layer. So just picking a colour and filling it. So I'll come onto the background here. We're paying attention to this top square, this black square here now. This is the colour that we can use to fill. So I'm making sure I'm on my background layer. I'll pick black for now, and then you come to this tool here, which is the paint bucket tool. You may see it as a gradient tool. So if it's currently showing as the gradient tool, you can click and hold and change to the paint bucket tool. And then you just click the background and it changes to that colour. Now, I quite like that. What I'm going to have a look at and have an experiment with is picking some other colours. So I'm going to pick some colours that are actually appear within some of my photos. So I'm going to use the dropper tool to be able to do that. So I'm going to go onto the colour here, onto the background colour here, the colour picker, and I am then going to just start selecting some colours. And what that's doing is that is picking that pixel that I pick on is going to show me the colour of that pixel. So just within that section of the grass is green, so I've picked it there. I could pick the blue of the games console, games controller there, or in fact this kind of orangey yellow colour. I'll go with this one and see how that looks. So I'm going to press OK, come back onto my paint bucket, click on my background layer again, and that's a little bit better. So you can choose to kind of pick colours from some of your letters. I'm going to try one more, just see if I like it. So let's go with this purple instead. Press OK. Make sure I'm on the paint bucket, and okay, I think I preferred the previous one, so I can take a step back, Control Z, and then I could save that as an outcome. So I'm going to go to Export, and I'm going to save it as a JPEG. Brings up the quality box, press Save. That then downloads down here. So that could be my first outcome. What I'm going to have a look at now is I'm going to have a look at the gradient tool. So we'll click on gradient tool, and up here you've got choices. So it says linear up here. You can do radial, angle, reflected, diamond. We'll have a look at some of these. So this requires you to pick two colours. So I'm going to pick the background here, and I'm going to just sample this yellow colour again. So I've got my purple and my yellow-orange colour there. Now if I click on the gradient tool, I can click and drag, and that will do a gradient from this colour through to that colour. So where I click first will be the top colour, where I click down to will be the bottom. And you can change how long that gradient is. And you can go sideways from side to side as well. So you can decide what you like about that. Maybe you go from one row to another. That's a linear gradient. You can do it at an angle as well. Let's have a look at radial instead. So what you'll notice is it gives you a kind of circle that then gradually moves towards the other colour. So if I make this radius a bit bigger, the middle of the circle is where you click to begin with. So I'll try and line up roughly to the middle of my postcard and come out to or towards that edge. I think I'll go a little bit bigger than that. Go all the way out here. So there we go. I could even zoom out even more and click on the middle again and take this right out and see how much it will go. So then I've just got a very slight bit of that orange yellow on the outsides. We'll go slightly less. There we go. Right, quite like that. Go to export as, save that as another one. Press save. Then we'll have a look at angle. I'm going to change the colours I've got here, so I'll pick this orange instead, and we'll pick a different colour for in here. Maybe go for that green that's on that neon. So we'll go in here and see if we can pick this one. There we go, really bright green. And make sure we're still on the gradient tool there. So this gives a clean cut line. So you can bring across a line where it's doing that, or you'll notice some parts of it then, the bits you've not selected, so the bits the other side of the first point, then gets gradual. So you can kind of choose that. We'll have a look at what reflected does. So that's got a middle point, so you could choose to put the middle point on the middle row, bring it down, and then it reflects. So you've got the top and the bottom of the same. So maybe I want the word believe to be more highlighted, so I could have that. And then the last one is pretty self-explanatory. It's a diamond. So similar to the circle, but slightly more diamond shaped. Those are your gradient fills and your paint bucket fill. Next, I want to have a look at adding in a picture that I've taken just off the internet. So I'm going to get rid of the colour there, so I'm just going to fill that white. So I'll go back to paint bucket, come back onto here, pick white, and keep my background layer. Let me just select all. So Control A, select all, and then I should be able to just paste that in. I'm just going to get rid of that layer. There we go, that's better. Right, and then we can fill that in white again now. Brill. Right, deselect that with Control D. So I'm going to open an image that I've downloaded previously. So you can see my example postcards have started to build up there. I've taken this fluffy clouds image off the internet and I've opened it. It's opened in a separate tab, so I'm going to need to copy this across to my postcard tab. So press Control A for select all, Control C to copy, come onto the destination document, make sure I'm still selected down here, so when I paste it just comes just above that. There we go, so we've got a new layer there, and we want to change the size of this. Now you change the size of it just straight to the edges, so if I want to change the size I can go to either Edit Free Transform or use the keyboard shortcut Alt Control T. So I'll try that. There we go, brings up the box. I want to change the size of this, keeping the aspect ratio. So I'm going to hold Shift, then grab a corner. Now if I just grab that and fill the background, fill the page, and press Enter, I can see it looks quite good. There are things that I would want to improve. There are bits where the background kind of interferes with the letters. So where this is white and the background of the letters there is white, it doesn't look as good. So you could then have a play with the size of that. So I'll go back onto Control Alt T. Oh, try and hold the buttons all down at the same time. Make sure I'm on that layer. Control Alt T. There we go. And then still holding Shift, grab a corner. I'm going to make it a lot bigger, so I end up with a bit more of the blue sky, and then I can kind of move it around until I'm happy with how the background interacts with the image. Now I think I prefer that with that cloud kind of over the word believe. Makes it a bit more central. And reduce the size very slightly, just bring it back down. Once I'm happy, hit enter so the box disappears around the outside. And I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to go with File, Export as JPEG. What would be even better is if we use our own photography behind there. So again, I'll just get rid of this layer. I'm going to open a photo that I've taken. Open that again, that will open as a new tab. We can get rid of the fluffy clouds tab now. Control A to select all, Control C to copy, and then onto the document, Control V to paste. There we go. Right, this picture is considerably bigger than the last one. So if I went to look at changing the size, if I press Control Alt T again, the box is a lot bigger. Now if I reduce this again, so hold Shift, grab the corner, and reduce it down to the size of the page, we'll have a look at how that looks. So just line the two top corners up and then hold Shift, grab the corner again, and just see how that fits. It's a bit messy, there's a bit too many lines, too many things going on in the image there. So again, I can have a look at playing with that. So what I'll do is I'm going to zoom back in and pick a certain section and have a go. So zoom back out, Control Alt T, bring the box back up, make it larger again, move it around, so decide where I want to have sections. I'll zoom in even more. If your photo's not great quality, then when you zoom in, it might become a little bit pixelated. So just be careful with that. Judge that yourself. So zoom right in and have these trees right in the middle of the work. Once I'm happy, I press enter. Now I'm still not 100% happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start having a go with the opacity here, making this layer so it becomes a little bit see-through, a little bit transparent. Now I quite like that, but it's actually going lighter. The reason why it's going lighter is because I've got a white background underneath. So instead, I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that to a black background. So I've clicked on the background layer, click on black, go to OK, click on the paint bucket, click in that area, then I've got a black background. So then I can choose back onto this layer and change the opacity again. That's helping the letters stand out a little bit more over the top of the image, but it's still showing this kind of creepy, kind of foggy wood that's behind it. I'm just going to have a last bit of a play with moving this image. Oh, make sure I'm on the right tool, so make sure I'm on the move tool, and then just have a play with where those branches are and how much of the sky I get to see. I think I'm happy about there. And then I can go to export as JPEG. Now, if I want to keep this, again, I will want to save it as a PSD document so I can come back to it and all the layers will be separate. I suggest you would do that, but also save it as export it as a JPEG, and then you can put that into your work. So then you can come onto your work and create a couple of new slides, and then easily insert the work by going to Image, Upload from Computer, and find your work. Brill. Look forward to seeing what you're creating. Thanks.